My Worst Date. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina, and I am so excited that I figured out the best way to power through the Risa Tisa saga.
My husband was at your house last night, and he told me this morning at midnight when he was driving home and called me. He was like, so Christina was telling me all about this Risa Tisa. I'm like, oh, girl.
Listen, this week I was telling Christina off mic before we started recording, I am involved in so much stuff I am not involved with online. Like the Risa Tisa, the number of TikToks I am getting about Risa Tisa. I did try to start it, but got immediately intimidated because I was like, there's how many parts?
Yeah, there's like over 50.
So many parts. So between that and then I am not watching Love is Blind. I haven't watched Love is Blind since season 1, but the way I know everything that's going on.
I don't, but I'm
going to
watch it.
I swear to God, I know these people's names. I know their messy like love triangle drama.
Amazing.
I know that there is one chick on there who thinks she looks like Megan Fox, and the internet said no, ma'am. I know so.
I can't wait. I can't wait
about that show.
I can't wait.
Along with Risa Tisa, I will say the very first episode in quotes of the Risa Tisa saga. She does talk about, and she keeps saying it. She's like, arena football, put a pin in that. Arena football. And I was like, that's the most relatable thing I've ever seen, like heard, because she's like, I don't follow sports. I have no idea what arena football. Sure,
Cassie,
yeah,
you
okay.
follow sports, and I'm sure that arena football is not on that list.
It's not.
But I would have bought it too.
Rasta.
I would have bought it too. I would have been like, sure, whatever you say. Sounds good.
The problem is with me is I would have bought it and immediately Googled, because then I'm like going to be into it because I do like sports. So for me, I'm like, oh shit, okay, all right, let's find out more.
I plugged it in to my CarPlay, and I was listening to it like a motherfucking podcast.
That's
driving around this week, just was like, she's such a great storyteller. And I was like, how the fuck is she remembering all these details? And it came out in one of the episodes that she audio diaries.
One of the episodes.
Oh, she audio diaries.
So I was like, that's how she's getting all these, like, because they are so detailed. And you're like the episode I was just listening, we got a new character named Peaches.
We got to get this woman on a double date. That's what we need.
Oh, girl, I don't even want to spoil it for you.
Okay,
you got to reach out to Risa Tisa, get her on it for a double date.
I don't think we can afford her at this point. The entire internet has lost their mind.
Yeah, like so the big thing. So this guy is lied about everything, but like at one point he has her test driving cars, and he's like, I want you to get a BMW or an Audi. And so he's like, I
want you to.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like, because I'll get a company car because I'm vice president of this very big condiment company. And so there's
also one quick Google. I'm sorry. That's the thing I would have Googled about.
That's so easy.
Like Cassie
linked
would have Googled,
motherfucking in.
Yeah, exactly. Cassie would have Googled arena football. I'd be on LinkedIn so quick. I'd be like, you are the VP of fucking an enormous condiment company.
Right.
A quick Goog.
yeah, that's gonna be on LinkedIn, my friend,
for sure.
But yeah, so she's like, she really wanted a specific kind of BMW, like BMW M series, like dark blue with a cognac interior. I guess BMW's adding her like, hey, Risa Tisa, like we got you like all this stuff. I'm like,
I hope she gets a car out of this. Bare mins.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Liz.
No, it's, I definitely, I think even if you haven't been in a scenario as absolutely bonkers
Very
as this
few people
one,
have, I would
very
imagine.
few people. There's still something so relatable about like the way in which sometimes we talk ourselves out of,
yes,
like in the beginning of the relationship, you're like, you talk yourself out of these red flags.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, am I so jaded? Am I so cynical that I can't blah, blah, blah?
Yeah. Okay. So Cassie sent us this thing, and I didn't read the article because I saw it and knew how I was going to feel about it.
Right. Just from the title.
I was like, no. Because the title was like, and it was intentional.
I'll read it.
Yeah,
I'll read it. Woman gets pregnant, has 3 babies with a man she quote, barely knew after a daunting diagnosis. Here's why. And it was on Apple exclusive People magazine
And
thing.
listen, I don't know what her diagnosis is. Maybe there are good reasons for this. But what I will say is you hear...
It was stage 4 endometriosis.
Okay. All right.
Let you know.
Okay. Yeah. So I understand the need or the want to go ahead and get pregnant before it escalates, because I get that.
Sure.
However, I have had a real true crimey week. I've been watching a lot of true crime. Okay.
Got it.
And between that and the Risa Tisa and my feelings in general, which everybody is familiar with at this point, I'm like, you don't know this person and you could really fuck your life up.
Yeah.
You could really fucking, you got to do your due diligence with people.
I have this is why I keep you ladies around, because I am this person who I'm like, jump first, questions later. Like, you want to move to Germany? Yeah. Bye.
Well, that's a different situation though, Cassie, because that is you take, and you spent a lot of time thinking about that. There were months of between when you first were like, I think I'm going to do this, and it actually ended up happening, right? Like, so there is that. And also that is you making a decision for you. Yes, you are married, but like you are making the decision for yourself. Like, when you choose to have kids with someone, you are tying your life to them forever.
That's true.
Forever. Mm-hmm. But you look, and they might seem like a nice guy, and you might be like, look, time's running out. I need to do this thing. I understand that feeling, but they could be anybody. I was listening to season 2 of Betrayal, which we had talked about.
Yeah. Dude, I told you that was...
Who the fuck did you marry? You know what I mean? And I'm just like, so these people have, and I've also been watching that show because it's on Max. Who the fuck did I marry?
Betrayal?
No, I did watch Betrayal. But yeah, so these people, you can be married to someone for a really long time and know that they were living some kind of secret double life.
Well,
so getting pregnant by someone you just met.
But that's the thing, Keegan.
Lord.
It could happen either way. Like, it literally could. So I don't know. I mean,
but I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna be cautious though.
Like, I know, because I'm gonna be the jump in with both feet and hope and wish, and it turns out, good luck. Bye.
Listen, I'm somewhere in between, but I definitely do diligence. You know what I mean? I'm FBI. Like, at one point, like, one of her videos, she's like, all right, I became the FBI, I became the CIA, I became Homeland Security, all in one.
As you should.
Just looking up court records and shit.
Being vulnerable is so scary, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it is scary. And I do understand, like, sometimes you have to take risks. Like, you do have to take risks. However, when you're moving someone into your house, when you are bringing someone around your children, or you are having children with this person, you are opening yourself up for them to potentially ruin your life. Like, and it wouldn't be hard for them to, if they wanted to, when they have that kind of access to you. Yeah. I'm very cautious about who I allow intimate access to me, because I know that gives them power.
Oh, dang.
You know what I mean? It does. It gives them power over you.
Oh, it does say in the article that Paul was 40 back in 2012 when, and he was working as a bartender in Hollywood. And that Katie asked his friend for his number from a friend and invited him on a hike. So like, that's how they met. They met kind of IRL. So it wasn't like they just kind of like saw each other's pictures on
Tinder. And she was like, you want to have babies? And he was like, sure.
Right. But also too, okay, listen, I am going to say something that might be problematic.
Oh, Lord.
He's 40 years old, working in a bar in Hollywood, and that's the person you want to have babies with? I mean, I just need more explanation.
I need more information about what his life is like. Yeah, because I mean, there could be...
Listen, you can make a lot of money as a bartender, but I don't know that it's a good family job, right? You're working late nights.
Well,
you know
also, what I'm saying? What was their deal? Like, was it going to be a thing where it's like, hey, I just want to have kids. You don't have to be involved at all? Because that would be a different conversation. It looks like he is involved. Oh, well.
Yeah,
great.
no, they're married now and have 3 kids. So, I mean, happily ever after. I just think that like my first initial, and of course, maybe that was maybe her first thing. She's like, fuck it. I found out this diagnosis. This is a shitty diagnosis.
Dude, and
you
it
know,
depends
I'm 33
too
years
on
old.
what kind of bar in Hollywood it is too,
Oh,
because I do know
listen, like I
bartenders
said,
that make over 6 figures a year.
I'm not talking about the money.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
talking about the money. I'm definitely not talking about the money, because I think you're absolutely right. Bartenders in Hollywood can make a shit ton of money, more than me.
Yep.
So that's not the case. Why
It's
my
the
point being
hours
is
and
like
stuff.
is the hours, right? You're not home at night. But you know, again, on the other side, that might be a great job, because then maybe she can work in the daytime.
Yep.
Then you always have somebody home. I mean, there could be a number. I think that my first initial thought would be like, oof, am I going to be a partner with somebody who's working
Maybe you're
every
not
single
looking
night
for a
and
partner,
on the
though.
weekends?
You know, maybe you're not looking for a partner. And
That's
I
true.
realize like I can come across as really judgmental when we have these conversations. If you like it, I love it. If it works for you, great. Like
Hey,
they're married.
it looks
they
like
have
it worked
kids
out.
now. It worked
Yeah.
out for them, and that's awesome. And I love that for you. For me and mine. For me and my household,
Ain't gonna be me.
It ain't gonna be me.
Stranger baby.
That's it. No.
No stranger babies.
I don't know you, sir.
Isn't there a whole song by Heart about this?
Lord.
Sounds like it. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh man. Well, we also had somebody on our Facebook group who anonymously shared something that I think is a good topic of conversation. So I'm just going to read what they wrote. It says, so 2 of my friends who were in a relationship broke up, with me being mutual friends of both of them and the 3 of us in the same friend group. Eventually, the whole friend group turned on one of them, causing them to be ousted. The friend group is saying terrible things about the ousted friend, and the ousted friend is saying terrible things about their ex, and also in the friend group. So at this moment, I am neutral, standing with all parties involved, both parties plus the friend group. How do you navigate maintaining neutrality, yet being supportive of both friends when there's so much mudslinging going on?
Ooh, that's rough. I mean, if you're truly friends with them, like it's not cool when people are talking shit about them.
About either of them.
Either of them. I would just, I think for me, if I were in that situation, I would just be like, you know, I'm friends with both of them. I can't, you know, hear this, you know, and just kind of remove myself. Yeah.
I think naturally sometimes that happens in friend groups, like where kind of one person feels like they're being pushed out of that friend group. But I think that, you know, if you've made a conscious decision to not separate that, or to, you know, then, you know, I just think there's a level of maturity. I wonder how old this friend group is.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if it's early 20s, you know, it can be volatile and everything like that. But I feel like if you're, you know, an adult, but it's really difficult to navigate. You know what I mean? Especially if there's coming from a place of anger about like what happened, or like both of them. It's really difficult to be actually friends with both, because you know what I mean? I'm like, are they both right? Are they both wrong? Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and that's the other part of this too, is that like there, you know, was there like a major reason that they broke up? Was there a reason that one of them, you know, maybe got ousted? Like, did they cheat? Was there like underlying things?
Yeah, if they did cheat, then like, why are you still friends with that person?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that there's not enough information in that post to like to, you know, say what this person should or shouldn't do. Like, there's not enough information, because when I hear the entire friend group turned their back on this person, well, why?
It makes me
like, why? Is it just the natural consequences of a breakup? Or is it something deeper than that? Did something happen? Was there some kind of catalyst for it? But beyond that, yeah, I mean, it would just be, look, I'm friends with both these people. I don't appreciate hearing this. Like, if you could just avoid talking about them like that around me. And if that can't happen, then you might have to make a decision.
Yeah, I might have to jump out the friend group too. I think that there's not a really easy way or an easy, blanket answer to this question.
Too many variables.
Yeah.
I'm going to need to see more evidence
included. Yeah,
before
show the
before
receipts.
making my ruling. I'm going to need you to enter some more exhibits into the court.
Jury's out.
Jury's out. Exactly. Hung jury. That's the verdict. Oh man. Well, who should we fuck, marry, kill this week? How we feeling?
So the Oscars are coming up. So why don't we fuck, marry, kill Oscar nominees?
Oh, okay. All right.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, we got some good
All
ones.
right. Do you have somebody in mind? Who are you thinking?
I was going to do Cillian Murphy, but I feel like we've done him already. I feel like we've done him a couple of times.
We've done all of these guys, I think, a lot.
Man I just think he's so hot. Still so hot. I rewatched 28 Days Later.
He's beautiful.
But there are some people on here who we haven't done a ton. I don't know that we've done Mark Ruffalo, or at least not for a really long time. He's nominated.
I think we have, but it's been a while.
Sterling K. Brown, I don't think we've ever done, and I think
he is so fucking good in that movie too.
He's
American
underrated.
Fiction
well, I guess maybe
he's a really good actor.
Maybe not underrated now that he is nominated for an Oscar, but I think he was underrated for a really long time because he was on This Is Us, and he was so good on that show. For the ladies, we've got Lily Gladstone, who, of course, we've never done before. Carey Mulligan, Emma Stone in Poor Things. We got Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks, America Ferrera, Jodie Foster, Queen.
Oh, I love America Ferrera. We've done her, I think, though.
We
I
did
think
her
I
recently.
picked her once.
Yeah, we did her recently.
I'm going to do somebody that I don't know that we've done. And if we have done them, it's been a really long time. But the only thing that I really enjoyed about Oppenheimer, which I know is a very unpopular opinion, Robert Downey Jr.
I was just thinking, I don't know that we have done Robert Downey Jr. If we have, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I really like Robert Downey Jr. Yeah.
RDJ.
All right. I'm into that. Oh, you know what? I love Jeffrey Wright too. I think that Jeffrey Wright is, good. Again, criminally underrated. I think he's so great. But I'm going to go with Sterling K. I'm going to go with Sterling K. Brown.
Okay. I am going to go with Paul Giamatti.
Oh, Paul Giamatti.
Also,
I love Paul Giamatti. I can't help it.
That movie gives me such 90s Dead Poets Society vibes. It's just
perfect.
It's so fucking comforting of a movie to watch. I definitely recommend Holdovers. That movie is great.
His name is Paul Edward Valentine Giamatti.
Oh, what a sweetheart.
Oh, June 6th. What is that?
Cancer. I think he's Cancer.
My dad's a Cancer, and he's June 29th.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So Gemini.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And who else do we got? Sterling K. Brown. Okay. Let's see. Should I tell you? I knew it. I fucking knew it.
Is he a fucking Pisces?
No.
Okay, no. Okay. The way you were looking at me, I was like, or I think you're looking at me. We're on Skype. It's so hard to tell who you're looking at.
A little closer to home.
Oh, it's an Aries. All right.
And guess what his birthday is? What his birthday is,
no.
Christina?
Oh, no.
April 5th.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, that changes everything for me.
Yeah.
All right. What about RDJ?
And then who else do we have?
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey.
I get fire sign vibes from him.
You get who?
Fire sign vibes from him.
I get oddly
I'm gonna
earth
guess
sign vibes.
Aquarius.
I could also see Aquarius, but also too he had addiction issues and
Cassie's left the frame.
What?
Goodbye.
Is his birthday also April 5th?
Fourth? I told you. I was like, that's fire sign energy right there. And you know what?
I just
April 4th.
I choose to yeet myself. Oh no!
The option
two Aries and a Gemini.
Are Gemini and two Aries. This is great for me. Oh my god, I'm loving this. Oh my god. I'm sorry, you too.
Oh okay.
Well, I'll go first.
Okay.
Yeah. A horror show for you guys.
I mean, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you go first.
Okay.
I mean, be frank, it's not great for you either. I don't think an Aries and Aries is very...
Gemini, though, I'm going to marry Paul Giamatti without hesitation,
I like
without
that for
question.
you, actually. I really do.
Yeah, love that for me.
You guys are going to have fun. You're going to travel to Italy. You're going to eat really good crusty bread. I love it.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of the Tooch, but still, I'm happy to do that
I'm
with
not.
Paul Giamatti, too.
I think Paul Giamatti would love to travel with you in Europe.
I think we would have a great time traveling Europe together. Yeah. So call me Paul. And then I think that I'm going to fuck Robert Downey Jr. He's just has a little bit of crazy in there and just the right amount for me.
Yeah.
Where this is going to be a fun night.
He mellowed out with age, so no one's going to get arrested.
Yes.
That man
exactly
never should have been on drugs because he has like a 10 out of 10 energy sober.
Right.
Because I've only ever really known Robert Downey Jr. since he's been sober because of just my age and his age. And I think his energy is elevated already. I can't imagine him on cocaine. Like he's going to be a good time of just on
regardless.
his own. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like we're very similar though in that way that we're both very like high energy. We're going to have a fun time. And like you said, Christina, he's mellowed out enough with age to not be like dramatic.
Yeah, I still feel though that there could be some emotional volatility there.
Sure. Which is why I can't do Sterling K. Brown. And here's the thing. Listen, I know this is purely just probably me judging his character in This Is Us. And that's the only thing I know about him really. But he just... There's too much intensity. It's just too intense. And I feel like he's the kind of person who would get in a bad mood and it would be all your fault. And I don't fucking have time for that shit.
Yeah.
I feel like he's more on that dark side of Aries where I feel like...
I don't feel that from him. That's interesting. Yeah, because I don't feel that from him. I never felt that about his character in This Is Us either because I think they have the best relationship, him and his wifey on that show. Okay. Oof. Oh.
I'm rocking a hard place here.
Yeah, this is hard. Because here's the thing. Personality-wise, I think life's going to be easiest with Paul Giamatti. Like I think marrying Paul Giamatti makes the most sense. I'm not no offense, Paul. I'm not attracted to Paul Giamatti. But
that's fine. I'll take him.
That's all right. It can be like an old school 1500s marriage where it's just like that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
That's not what it's about.
It's about companionship.
Companionship. Right. And I feel like he would be great at that. He's going to bring you tea in bed, I think. You're going to sit side by side and read books. That's nice.
And that voice, he's got such a delightful voice.
Yeah.
He really does.
Yeah. He seems, he seems lovely. Okay. Yeah. All right.
I would get to watch a lot of like historical movies
too,
which I love.
Absolutely.
Like Lincoln.
I picture him sitting on a leather couch with his feet up on an ottoman with like a fluffy little dog in his lap.
Like an Afghan.
Yeah.
A lot of Afghans.
Yeah. It's cozy.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a fireplace involved
I've
for
talked
sure.
myself into this. Yeah. I'm going to marry Paul Giamatti. It makes sense. It just feels like life's going to be easy. I'm not in this for like, I'm getting to an age now where I'm like,
He does give me that classic Gemini vibe where you're just like in the middle of a conversation and he's talking about something really cool. And then suddenly he's like, but also too, that thing can kill you. Right?
I'm okay with that.
Like,
that could be fun. That's the way we'll keep it interesting. So I'll marry him. I'm gonna fuck Sterling K. Brown. I think he's hot.
He is hot.
Yeah,
he is. Really hot.
No, I don't think he's not hot. I just think that he's moody.
I'm struggling over here.
Yeah, I can feel it. I sense it off of you.
This is nothing
want
good.
to marry Paul Giamatti because I feel like I would get very, very bored.
Yeah,
you would.
I do need a little bit of
flavor,
chemistry, flavor, some seasoning.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to marry Sterling K. Brown.
That was my other option was to marry Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be more interesting. I think it's going to be more fun.
It's going to be challenging. I've learned what I've learned from my past experiences, and we'll just hope for the best. It will be spicy.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And then I got to fuck our DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't marry him. I'm not going to lie. I thought that was going to be who you'd marry.
That's a lot.
I just feel
energy.
like it's a much safer bet.
I disagree completely.
Okay.
I completely disagree. I think, Christina, you with Robert Downey Jr., I think that level of energy is going to drive you nuts.
It's too much. Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
On the day-to-day, on the everyday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
all right, guys.
He's also like, out enough. He's got enough projects and stuff where he's out of the house.
He's not at home ever. So it'll be fine. Yeah. That's worth taking into consideration.
I just feel like, I don't know. There's this part of me that's like, Sterling King Brown just seems so fucking serious. Like, I feel like it'd be hard for me to imagine him laughing.
I just saw him in a different movie where he was very comedic. So I'm coming from a different place. And I never watched This Is Us. So.
There you go.
So yeah,
I think he's got a great smile. I don't know. I've never gotten that intensity vibe, but that's the thing. That's the thing about these fuck, marry, kills. We don't know these people. Okay,
right.
Everything that we're talking about is us projecting.
We don't have to follow through with it. So
it's just us projecting whatever we have managed to glean from whatever projects we have personally seen them in and or interviews. That is it.
Absolutely.
We don't know these people. He could be the most playful person on the planet. We have no idea. Robert Downey Jr. could be so boring and so chill, and we just don't know. We simply don't know.
We don't know.
So with a grain of salt, we do have a new patron.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
So I want to give a big worsty welcome patron shout out to Sarah Miller. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, I'm getting hearts.
That's my bestie from when I was a kid.
Oh,
yay.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
That's lovely. All right. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us. We are so excited and grateful to you. We will get your worsty rewards in the mail ASAP.
Yeah. Well, you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with stories?
Yes.
Sounds good.
And we're back. Okay, Cassie, you've got the Tainted Love this week, so you kick us off.
All right. So I got my story from Tinder and
from Tinder?
No. Oh my God, no.
I was like, Cassie, are you just like on Tinder in Germany? Just fucking scoping it out.
Surprise.
Seeing what
Tinder Germany. Tinder Hamburg. Here I come. No, not at all. No, I got this story from Reddit. It is a Tinder story from Reddit.
Okay.
All right. It says, I am 40, male, and was dating a lot at the time. And this was by far the weirdest one. This happened back in spring of 2022. The match started normal enough, though she was a bit young for me at 28. Her pictures were nice. She said she was still in school and working in investing in finance. She asked me to get drinks after only a few messages, which I thought was odd, but why not? I don't think that's odd.
I don't think that's drinks. If it was something, if she asked you to go away for the weekend after a few messages, I'd be like, oh yeah, red fucking
Can you
flag.
come to a family funeral with me?
You want to go camping?
Yeah.
No. When I show up, I am immediately taken aback by what she's wearing. She is decked out in a very fancy men's clothes, like someone going to a cocktail party with old money British people.
Okay.
I later find out the tie she's wearing costs a few $100s from a boutique in a London store. But this is New York City, and a lot of people are eccentric, and I think maybe this is just the look she's trying out.
I need to know where they're having drinks. Are they at a fucking yard house and she's dressed like this? Or
in New York? I doubt it.
Are they at like a nice place?
I'm assuming it's New York.
They went to the Olive Garden on Times Square.
Exactly. I'm like, New York could give you either thing. It really could. So...
No,
I'm betting not. I'm betting
not.
they're at a like local
Fancy.
place that has like all different styles of glasses. You know what I mean?
All right, then honestly,
very
fine.
hipstery,
Carry on.
right?
Carry on with your fancy ass.
I could roll with the outfit, but when I heard her voice, I was floored. She started by saying, "Well, hello there," in a kind of old-timey accent.
Oh, no,
She spoke
no.
like she was SNL's Kate McKinnon doing an impression of someone.
Yeah,
Now I'm
see?
thinking to myself, hey, how are you doing?
Did she call you old sport?
She's pretending she's Gatsby.
Yes. Now I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck is this? I am polite, so I go along with it like it's normal. We start talking about work, and she starts telling me that she just got off work at her job at the running shoe store. I was confused because I thought she did finance, but she explains that she is trying to get a job doing that, and right now she is working at the running store. She mentions how everyone there thinks that she's the manager because of the way she dresses. In my head, she wears fancy clothes to a job at a running store? What the fuck? I casually ask if she likes running, and she responds that she absolutely hates running. She also hates sneakers, and they don't fit her feet, so she only wears a particular type of men's dress shoes. At this point, I think I'm starting to think that I'm being punked. I start looking around trying to find where the camera is. I can't believe that this could be possible or real. Then she mentions that I'm a little young for her. I ask her what she means because I'm a lot older than her. She then tells me that her last boyfriend was 78 and the one before that was 85.
Okay. This is a lot to unpack. I think we need to put a pin in here. I have a few things to say.
Okay.
First and foremost, your own style and how you choose to present yourself, thumbs up.
Great.
However, like, you need to put that on your profile. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Your picture should show that.
Represent yourself how you are in order to avoid awkward situations. Because there are a lot of people that would be like, holy shit, that's fucking hot.
Right.
I love that.
That's rad.
Because that's what I was thinking. I was just like, look.
75-year-olds would love that.
In fact, I was about to make that joke. I was like, did she get that from her ex-boyfriend's closet? You know, like, ooh. But what I will say is like a nicely tailored men's clothing on women actually
super hot.
Looks great.
Love
looks
it.
Great. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and even he said, he's like, it's New York City. A lot of people have like eccentric styles.
Yeah.
Like he didn't seem like totally bugged by it.
But it's like if you only ever wear like if you dress like a 1950s housewife every day, I think that is awesome and very cool.
But if you also use the 1950s, you know,
but that should be on your profile.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm a vintage lover. This is how I dress.
Exactly.
You know, these are what my interests are. It's a big part of your life. Yeah, I agree.
This is the reason why people chat more than a couple of messages, maybe before they meet up. To possibly avoid
maybe that's why.
These kind of situations. But yeah, I mean, the dress stuff, it was like, yeah, okay, whatever. But then you're layering on like, yeah, see, like
she's got a big cigar she pulled out.
You know, Groucho Marxing it or whatever.
Stop it. Quit reading my thing for me. So anyway, he says she's looking for younger guys now because she wants to have a long-term relationship. And then in a Groucho Marx voice, she says, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't. What is she like during sex?
Oh,
can you imagine?
Oh man, that's a really nice dick you got there.
She talks like Mae West.
Why don't you come up and see me sometime?
Oh, Lord.
Exactly. I am now looking at the other people at the bar, trying to figure out if they're actors, but they all seem normal. It goes on for a bit longer, and some other weirdness. At this point, it was just a car accident, and I can't stop watching. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a YouTube channel where this lives.
Seriously. Yeah, that's a little too much. The accent is what pushed it over the edge to me. I'm just like,
it's too far.
Listen, you can. It's your world, you know. Create whatever reality you want to live in.
Right.
But
2024 is everybody's in their Delulu era. Exactly. Like if this is what you want to manifest for yourself for your life, I love it. Not everybody's going to be into it.
Yep.
Okay, that's just the way it is.
Yep. Is somebody
that sounds great, guys. What's your story now?
What's your story?
Well, better luck next time.
Yeah, see? All right. I've got a infuriating one for you. Get your heckles up. Here we go. I'd agreed to meet this guy at a local restaurant for our first date. We'd been speaking extensively for a few weeks, talking on the phone, video chatting, texting. There was hardly a social media that we did not use to talk. I was very excited to meet him in person for the first time. I arrived at the restaurant about 10 minutes early, wearing jeans and a sweater. The waiter informed me my date hadn't arrived yet, but I was content to wait, ordering a glass of water. 15 minutes roll by. I find myself bouncing my knee impatiently. Now 30 minutes after we were supposed to meet. I guess he's not coming. I decide that even if he isn't coming, I may as well grab a bite to eat. I order a hamburger and fries and leave the booth to go to the washroom. Upon returning to the booth, a tall, bearded gentleman sits in my seat. I recognize him from his profile immediately. Sorry I'm late, dollface.
Oh,
got caught
right.
up at work.
What is happening?
No.
Are all these stories straight out of like 1922?
Hey, dollface.
No.
I swear to God.
No.
You don't like being called that by a stranger?
No.
It's so condescending.
I fucking hate it.
Okay.
We don't like it.
No.
I cringe internally at the name, but smile and greet him, sliding into the booth. The waiter sets my food down in front of me while handing him a menu. He frowns at my plate. You ordered without me?
I
He
sure
inquires.
fucking did. You're late.
Oh, yeah, I hadn't eaten today and I was really hungry. I suddenly feel embarrassed, like I've done something wrong. Bad choice. If we date, you're not going to eat shit like this. He states, never raising his eyes from the menu.
Would. I swear to God.
You know
I
what?
wish you
I'm-
would
at
fucking
this
tell
point-
me what I can and cannot
Yeah,
eat.
yeah. You're flagging down the waitress. You're having her wrap it up, and you're going to take that shit
Listen
home and
here.
enjoy your hamburger in the privacy of your own home.
Yeah.
Listen, dollface.
Listen, dollface. I eat what the fuck I eat. So, yeah.
Wow.
I laugh half-heartedly. Is he kidding? Is he nervous? He orders 2 drinks from the bar. Oh, no, I need to drive home, I tell him, stopping the waiter. They're not for you, he hisses, tossing the menu at the waiter.
Oh.
Then I'm actually just gonna. I'm out of here.
Yeah. And here's what's so fucking weird to me. It's like, you know, for yours, it made sense because they had only messaged a couple of times before they met up. These people have been fucking interacting, even video calling for a couple of weeks. So, like, where the fuck is this coming from? That's what I would think. I think I would be confused if you had had a few weeks of good conversation. I can see why she's, like, startled.
Trust no one.
Yeah.
Trust no one. Trust no bitches.
Keegan's motto.
No.
Keegan's motto 2024. Trust no bitch.
Trust no bitch. The conversation does not flow at all. He glares petulantly at his phone. His drinks arrive. He drinks them both immediately and orders 2 more. Suddenly,
I just want to put on the record that I'm not going to be responsible for getting your ass home. You're going to have to figure that shit out yourself.
Check.
Yes.
Or this fucking check.
God, you got to tell immediately tell your server.
I'm out.
Can you split the checks now?
also, how the fuck dare you comment on what I'm eating like your body is some
like
kind of temple? Who?
Thank you.
Be so
Who is
fucking
you?
for real right now. Like, are you kidding? My body's a temple.
Who is you?
4 G&Ts, please. Okay.
His body doesn't have to be a temple. He wants your body to be a temple.
Oh,
That's all it is.
you nailed it.
Yeah.
You nailed it. Suddenly, he
hate this.
raises his head and smiles. I'm sorry. Where are my manners? How was your
I don't
day?
know. I don't know where
Truly,
they are.
where are they?
Nowhere that I can find.
Dumbfounded, I tell him about my day. Labs, classes, the usual. I ask about his. Oh, you know, I smoked a bit, walked my dog, slept, smoked more. Actually, he says, removing a rolled joint from his pocket, want to go smoke outside?
I don't.
Now, don't get me wrong. I've been known to enjoy some Mary Jane in my time, but never in a public place and never with some random man I just met. No thanks, I say. He frowns. Are you high right now? And didn't you say you went to work? Oh, work, fuck that. And yeah, girl, I'm high as a freaking kite.
Oh, Jesus.
Didn't know you were so uptight.
Hot.
Wow.
Hot. You showed up stoned to our date. Sexy.
His 2 drinks and food arrives. He then orders a bottle of wine.
Okay, well, you got to have a conversation with the server at this point. You have to talk to the server.
Yeah.
Like, because this is broke boyfriend. Broke boyfriend didn't go to work. He's been getting high all day, and he's ordering how many? How much is that?
Four drinks, a bottle of wine,
and food.
So
how much is his tab? Do we think at this point?
Too much. Too much for me.
If he's in LA, it's like over $100 for sure.
Yeah,
easy.
A waitress walks by.
That's just the drinks,
right? Honestly, because I was just thinking that I'm like, depending on what he ordered, like 4 cocktails. Yeah. You're talking
and a bottle of wine.
Depending on where you are, $15 a cocktail.
Yeah, and
then a bottle of wine could be
up to $50 probably for basic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then a waitress walks by and he stops her, probably asking for more booze. I think. Oh no. He doesn't ask for more liquid courage. He asks for her phone number.
I was about to say, he's going to ask the waitress out. Oh, Lord.
If my eyebrows had raised any further up my head, they'd become a permanent part of my ponytail. She laughs uncomfortably and attempts to leave.
God bless servers.
Grabs her wrist.
Nope.
And she quickly walks away. The entire restaurant heard the exchange. I resist the urge to run screaming towards the nearest fire exit.
Don't resist. It's time to leave because now everybody thinks you're with this person.
Yeah.
Like that is one thing. I don't ever want to be associated with people who are...
Stranger.
Yeah.
I don't know him.
This is a first date. I want everybody to know this is a first date.
Yeah.
She
stands up.
Yeah.
Addresses the audience. Like, I just want everyone to know here that...
So the check finally arrives. I move to pay for my small meal amounting to 2 glasses of water and some pub food.
He's going to ask to split it.
Whoa. He holds out his hand. Want to go back to my place? Watch a movie?
No, I do not.
I'll pay for dinner.
No,
but
I'm good.
Maybe next time. Well, fine. I wasted my time then. Let's split the bill.
Oh,
nope. No, ma'am. No, sir. No.
Okay. I'll pay for my food. I move to grab the debit machine from the waiter who has remained awkwardly perched near our table.
But I'm glad the server is there for this whole exchange.
Yeah. He says, "Did I stutter? Let's split the bill." He glares at me, shoving his receipt towards the waiter. I'm an undergrad student. I have negative $121 of disposable income. There's no way I'm paying for the brewery of alcohol he consumed. Nope.
Fuck this dude.
Not happening. I glare openly at him. Pay for your own shit. I slap a 20 on the table, which is more than enough to pay for my bill. Hey, I slide from the booth. Fucking bitch, he yells, and the waiter keeps him to his seat. Thank God.
Wow. Wow. I was just thinking that, if you're dating, it's probably a good idea to carry cash on you for situations just like this.
Exactly.
Because you can make quick escapes, just pay for your shit and get out of there rather than having to wait for someone to run a card.
And to be honest, having been a server and a manager in a lot of different restaurants, like if you see something of this magnitude, because this is obviously like extreme, this guy was such a piece of shit. A lot of times, if you need to get the fuck out, like a manager's going to be like, "Don't worry, we're gonna comp. Like, don't fucking worry about it. Just get out, get safe. Like, don't fucking worry about the bill at a restaurant when you're like in a situation. Yeah, exactly. Like this. Like that's the least of your worries. So
absolutely.
Wowee. Okay. Well, let's lighten things up a little bit, shall we? This is a listener story. And it starts, "Hi, Worsties. My best pal, Yasmin, put me onto your podcast a few years ago. And when I told her about this insanity, we were both like, okay, the ladies need to hear this."
Ooh, yeah.
So, a bit of quick backstory. I am just re-entering the dating scene after the man I was madly in love with died suddenly last April.
Oh, honey.
Yeah.
Oh.
Needless to say, I'm still a little fragile and need to take things slowly. So this January, I started dating a neighbor I met last winter. We kind of got to know each other over the year, running into each other walking our dogs, and he knew about my loss. So months go by, and I decide to invite him out to a Christmas open house event at a historical building I work at in my city.
So the opening of this, I'm like literally playing the Hallmark movie in my head.
Yes.
All of that stuff, like literally it was just like, oh my God, that could be the makings of a beautiful romantic
You're walking
Hallmark
your
movie.
dogs together, and it's Christmas time.
It's Christmas time.
But this is my worst date. So
In my head, it's not a date. I'm just being friendly and getting to know this kind, cute guy. We had a really nice time and made plans to hang out again. His intentions quickly come forward, and I'm very specific that if we do date, I have to go very slow. Mm-hmm. He wholeheartedly assures me that is absolutely fair and that we can go at my pace. Things are going okay, no sex, but we go on cute dates, hold hands, and make out a little. A couple weeks in, he helps my son build a bed frame, and we bring my daughter out to dinner after her breakup. He'd met my young adult kids already, given that we're neighbors, so this seems normal and sweet. Everything seems like it's going well, so I decide it's time for some sex. Now.
Hell yeah. They're like, all right, he's been normal.
You're cool.
You've been cool.
You're hanging out.
Right.
Hanging out. Go, okay. All right.
Now, I don't know about you, but after a long stretch without, I get a little giddy and googly-eyed. So my enthusiasm went up. His went through the goddamn roof. Daily, I'm starting to get so many compliments, it's beginning to feel smothering. I'm a Leo queen, so when I say smothering, you know it's
That's
too many.
Oh my God.
You're overwhelming a Leo with compliments?
Leo? No.
Holy
no.
shit.
That, I didn't even know you could do it. I did not even know it could happen. I'm not going to lie.
But I brush it off because I'm like, this is new. It's flattering. He's enthusiastic. This will taper off. Fast forward a few days to a text from him that he signs with IL***EU.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
I'm dumbfounded.
Okay.
He sneak attacked me with asterisks. I'm also awkward as heck and use comedy when I'm uncomfortable.
It's me.
So I sent him a GIF.
A gift?
I sent him a GIF of a luge race and say, I luge you too, ?
Oh my God. All I can think of is the fucking Ralphie thing from The Simpsons.
I choose you.
It's a picture of a train.
I get it. I lose you too. So funny to me.
Oh no.
And when I see them in person, I make it very clear, as sweet as it is, I'm not ready for I love you, even if it's in code. So we move forward. I think it's in the past. We make plans to have a dinner date at his place last Wednesday. It just so happens to be Valentine's Day. Not why we planned it. I don't celebrate it. It just worked with our schedules for that day. So I'm at the stove cooking dinner. We're chatting about whatever. And he says, hey, got you something. I turn around and he hands me a large homemade Valentine's card.
Uh-oh.
Aw,
Does
cute.
that have macaroni glued on it?
Cute, right? No, it is 2 pieces of office calendar paper taped together and folded in half to make both sides a blank slate. And I totally understand that not everyone is an artist, but this is bad. But it is not so much the art that's the problem as it is the context which ambushes me shortly. The cover, at first I didn't realize it even opens, is handwritten like a young child, covered in tiny holographic stickers and huge, poorly drawn hearts. It simply says, to you, from me, happy heart day. I thought, okay, that's cute, I guess, a little weird, but thoughtful. So I smile and say politely, oh, thank you. He eagerly says, open it. So I open it. My whole body freezes and my brain goes on autopilot as I thank him while I'm trying to process what I'm looking at. It is unhinged. Inside is a hand-drawn stick figure family portrait of him, his dog, his cat, and me, my kids, my dog, cats, and even my goddamn goldfish.
I got the ick.
No.
I got the ick. I got the ick when you put stickers on paper. I got the ick.
There's a billion more tiny stickers. In the bottom right of the card, it says ILO**EU.
Nope. We had a convo about that.
I'm not exaggerating when I tell you this drawing looks almost exactly like a ceramic plate my son made me for Mother's Day in like grade 4. And this full-grown, presumably sober at the time man made it and thought, this is a great idea.
No.
I'm shook. He's proud of the stickers and points them out. My vagina has gone completely dry and spat out sand as it sealed itself up like a tomb in the desert.
Oh my God. And it never opened again until Aladdin showed up.
It's the mummy.
All I can think is, this is wrong on so many levels. A family fucking portrait. Are you kidding me? Sir, it has been 7 weeks at best. This is not slow.
That is flowers. The opposite of slow. 7 weeks.
Dude, I am apparently a married woman now. And oh my God, that bottom right-hand corner. Only one asterisk. He's added a vowel. He's getting bold now.
Yeah, he is. Now, here's where I think, 7 weeks could be the right time for some people. Sometimes it could be too slow. She
was explicit.
Seems like she was explicit
right.
about what she needed after going through something so traumatic. And, he's not really respecting her boundaries. And also, I gotta say, like, if you can make a card and it's like artistic and is really cool, touching. But I am totally on board with the way that she's describing this, like, stick figure kind of thing.
Oh, I'll show you. She sent pictures. And I will show you. I feel like he's playing a game of hangman, and I'm choking one letter at a time. Utterly bewildered,
well, that's what he showed you is a hangman family.
Utterly bewildered, I feign appreciation as I try to sort out what the fuck and go back to cooking. All through our meal, I can't get that card out of my head. I was originally eager for some steak and sex, and now I'm just trying to get through my gunshot wedding dinner without being like, what the hell, dude? On my way out, I try to oopsie doopsie forget the card. He hands it to me, and I begrudgingly stuff it in my tote bag. So obviously, I show this card to my girlfriends immediately, without much context beforehand to ensure honest responses, because I'm a teensy bit like, am I being harsh? And the general consensus is the same. No, I'm not being harsh. That is bonkers insane. So needless to say,
I gotta see this card.
But funny to share that after only 6 short weeks back in the dating world, I am a newly divorced woman who desperately needs to find a new route to walk her dog.
Oh.
And then she said I would absolutely send photos of the card. And I wrote back and I said,
you were like, immediately,
please. Okay, I'm going to show.
This.
This is the cover.
Oh, that is.
Mm-hmm. And
childlike.
It's not doing
but it's
anything
like
for the
purposely like being.
Here's the family.
Childish.
Here's the family drawing.
Oh my God.
I can't see.
No,
my God.
I think it's because it's like purposely like childlike that it is.
It's
icky.
worse. Oh, it's worse.
Yeah.
Like, in what world did you think this was going to be sexy?
Yeah,
like
that
does nothing for me.
It's giving serial killer.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird. I'm going to text them because Cassi is in Germany so she can get a closer look at them.
I need to get in on the inbox and I need to examine them.
And that's the thing. If you tell someone you want to go slow, they can't text, like putting L asterisk E instead of saying love is not going slow.
My God. It's the stickers. It's the, oh my God.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Dude. What's wrong with that dog?
We got to ask if we can put this up on Instagram because people are going to be so like, oh man.
Oh, no. Yeah, not that I want to drag this man any further than we have already dragged him. But listen. If you tell someone if someone tells you they want to go slow, first of all, you can't throw out love in the first couple of weeks. I don't care if you're spelling it out fully or not. Secondly, how did you expect her to respond to creating a family portrait that involves you and your family, which is you and your pets, and her family, which is her and her kids?
Yeah, no. That's a no from me, dog.
That's wild.
That's
totally
wild.
I can't hate anything more right now.
It's awful.
So insane.
I would never want to have sex again. I'd be like, we're closed for business.
Like not just with you, with anybody.
Anybody. Like, done. Signed off. And I'm out. Oh, no.
I just can't imagine like a grown, like, upper 30s man with a job Like I can't put that together with that picture. Do you know what I mean? Like
I just don't understand why he thought that was a winning strategy.
No, it's not.
Literally, just get her some flowers, like cook her a dinner. That sounds nice.
Exactly.
Be normal.
Yeah, bring over a bottle of wine. Like, what are you doing?
Dude. Be cool. Don't be not cool.
Like, you knew that fucky fuck time was on the table.
On the table.
And that's, you were like, let me set the mood.
And then you got this
Sabotage
like fucking
yourself.
toddler
played
card. You played yourself. Exactly right.
You played yourself.
Shit.
That is the title of this episode.
Yep.
Sir, you played yourself.
Oh man, you played yourself.
Oh, but thank you so much for writing that in.
Oh my God, that is
I've just never heard anything like that. And like you, I am always like, give the benefit of the doubt. Like he was trying to be sweet,
Without seeing the card, I was like, maybe he's just not that good of an artist. It's so deliberately like meant to look like a kindergartner.
It looks like a kindergartner did it. Like it literally
it's not like just
looks like a kindergartner.
It's not like just like, oh, I'm a bad artist, so I'm gonna do the best I can.
But also, even if you're a good artist, because I have had people make me things who are like good artists, like, and I am charmed by that. But even if you're a good artist,
I made you a really cute bookmark.
If you gave me, you did, and I use it. But if you gave me, if you are so good at sketching that you can make photorealistic sketches, and you make a photorealistic sketch combining our families a couple weeks in, when
we haven't even had sex yet.
It still wouldn't be okay. I don't care how good you are at art.
Fucking one is what that is.
No, it's not about the art. I mean, the art makes it worse. But
that actually made it worse, Keegan. I didn't think it could get worse. That made it worse.
Well,
photorealistic images of our of a family. No, thank you, ma'am.
Just don't be making a family.
Not.
You know what this reminds me of? And this is truly unhinged. In Sister Wives, when I was rewatching Sister Wives, when Cody marries the new wife, Robin, she brings kids into the marriage, right?
Yeah.
Their first Christmas together, she gets him it is like a drawing. It's like a sketch of him when she took a photo, a portrait of him when he was young with his kids with one of his other wives, took that to an artist, had them make a drawing of him holding her kids as babies.
No. Oh my God.
And him as a young person.
Enough with the Photoshop. Okay.
It was fucking the most wild shit I've ever seen. Because he's like, well, you're their dad, but you weren't there for them when they were babies. So I wanted you to have a portrait of you with them when they were kids. And I'm like, this is
I hate this.
Unhinged.
Because he's not their dad, right?
No,
like he isn't.
No.
Okay.
And he took if I was one of the other wives and I'm like, you took my kids out of the picture and put your kids in it.
The disrespect.
The disrespect.
We're going to have words.
All
We're
right.
going to have words.
Anyway.
We're going to have words.
Oh my God.
I dislike it. Oh God. Okay, let's take 5.
Yes. We'll come back with the Tainted Love.
Okay, and we're back. And I have the Tainted Love. And I gotta say, when I heard this story, I was surprised I hadn't heard it before.
Okay.
I originally found this on a show called I Lived with a Killer. Don't ask me, it was on Peacock. That's how I found it.
There you go.
And the story is about a John David Smith III. John Smith.
Okay.
The most
David
rare
Smith is like,
the third.
wow.
Obviously the third, because obviously. So John Smith meets Diane Beasley. It's 1998, California, Southern California. They met through a mutual friend. Diane had been divorced for about 3 years. She was not looking for a relationship. She was not looking to get into anything. She was really enjoying her single life, happy to just have, boyfriends and have fun with her life. She wasn't ready to settle down or do anything, too intense.
I bet 1998 Los Angeles was a fun place. The tans were intense.
Oof.
A lot of bleach
Tans
blondes
were so tan.
happening.
Yeah.
Very high hip bikinis.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel like that might have been more 80s, late 80s, early 90s,
This is
early
1998.
90s. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, this is more grungy, I think. I think we're starting. At any rate, she's not interested in getting a relationship, but she's charmed by John. She's like, they go out on a date together, and he wasn't. She even says, she's like, he's not a real looker, but they did have like a lot in common. So it ended up kind of just being like more of like a falling into a relationship than anything, because she just was like, wasn't looking for it. He just was a completely charming man and had like such a great like energy about him, loved all the same things she did. He was really into cars, very ordinary guy, very simple man, but really in love with cars, worked in an auto field. She said every time he would come to her place of work or like to pick her up, he always had some kind of new car with him. So it was like really into it. He worked at a garage in which he had a lot of cars. So, but John's a simple man, and he came from a simple background. He grew up in Ohio. He had a very simple upbringing. He had a bit of that kind of, small town upbringing, grew up kind of, near farms and stuff like that. Sounds very much like an area that I grew up in. John, early in conversations, had told Diane that he also had been married in his past. They're having these conversations about their past history. And he tells Diane that he had been married right out of high school. He got married, but it didn't work out. They divorced very quickly. And that he had been married a second time. And his second wife had unfortunately died of cancer. And she noticed that he seemed really attached to this second wife. He had a portrait of her hanging in his house still, even though his second wife had been gone for quite some time. But she was like, I can totally understand that. Losing somebody in such a difficult way, it sits with you, and somebody being taken away from you when you're not ready is very difficult. So she just like, her daughter was like, it's kind of weird, but it can be, you can talk yourself out of the weirdness of that very easily, because it's a difficult thing to go through. So, but just 3 months after they started dating, John asked Diane to get married. Hi. It's very fast.
Okay, marriage number 3 for him, and he still has ex-wife's portrait up on the wall. Like, I would be like,
the portrait has to come down before the proposal. That I will say that.
That is the order of operations. Correct.
You having it still up is fine with me, but if we're gonna get married, I'm not asking you to
with a dead person.
Right. I'm not asking you to forget about her. I'm just saying, like, hey, maybe I don't want her looking at me in my own home every day.
Yeah. 3 months is too soon for this situation.
Absolutely. Again, for somebody who also, maybe is still not quite over his last wife,
I do have enough evidence to rule in this case. And we're unanimous.
It's too soon.
Yeah.
Too soon.
You guys know you don't have to get married, right?
So
you don't have
true.
to. You don't have to
You could
do
just
it.
date.
Like,
you
just feel it out, see, and then nothing says you can't get married later.
Wave.
Nothing says you can't get married later. Why are you in such a hurry? Everybody relax.
Yeah, weddings are really stressful anyways.
Jesus.
Like, who's rushing to do all that shit? Yeah, exactly.
And expensive, especially in Southern California, even probably in 1998. She says that she also was like, she told him, she's like, I'm not really in love with you. Like,
we just met, bro.
I love what we have. I'm not ready to like dump this relationship, but at the same time, I'm not quote unquote in love with you right now. He's like, that's fine. He's like, that's okay. He's like, you will fall in love with me and we'll be happy together. And so she accepts his proposal.
Diane.
Babe,
come on.
Why? I don't understand. Why?
So the day before the wedding, Diane is kind of confronted with her first kind of orange flag, as it were.
It's orange. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
a pink flag.
Okay.
Pink.
Yeah.
Okay. Yellow flag. I don't know. And she's confronted because somebody comes to the guest house, one of his friends, is there for John's bachelor party that they're having at the house. So she's staying in their guest house. And somebody comes to the guest house and is like, hey, John's been upstairs. He hasn't even come down for his party yet. Like, what's going on? So she goes in and she's like, she runs upstairs and she's like, hey, John. And she like opens the door and he's on the computer and he quickly is off the computer. And she's like, what are you doing? All your friends are here. You haven't greeted anyone. This is very strange behavior. Like, what's going on? What were you doing on the computer? And he's like, I was ordering car parts. And she goes, honestly, she was like, I didn't have any reason to question him. She's like, he's always been honest with her up to this point, and he's a quirky guy. He's obsessed with cars. Okay, come on, nerd, get downstairs.
Oh my God, we were just talking about this at the beginning of this episode. Like the things that you're just like, you want to explain it away because it's easier. It is. It's actually easier to be like, their explanation is probably valid than actually like doing the work to like investigate it. You know, we want things to be okay. We don't want there to be issues. We don't want there to be shadiness or weirdness. Right. So a lot of times we're like, I'm willing to accept that it was car parts and not some weird thing that you're doing.
Right. Because if you scratch the surface on that just a little bit, because I would probably do the same thing. Yeah, I'm with you. I think that like we want to explain things away. But if you scratch that just a little bit, it's like you were ordering car parts and you needed to slam your laptop shut. For what?
Yeah.
And you're doing it now while your friends are waiting downstairs? Like, what?
I will tell you that there's so many still, for me, question marks, this being one of them, of the things that like, because to me, this reads Risa Tisa. All over the place. And as we dive further into it, there's still questions to me that are unanswered.
You know what? It was 1998. People were more trusting back then. We didn't have the Risa Tisas of the world out here.
We didn't have Risa out here warning us.
The internet was still like early, where it'd be like, you know, websites where like the black background with the lime green, like Times New Roman.
That's why all of our eyes are fucked, by the way. Like, that's why all of our eyeyesight is garbage, because we were trying to read. Why was the black background black? Like,
my eyes are so garbage, and I swear to God, they change. I swear, on like a bi-monthly basis. I'm like constantly like, what? Like back and forth. Anyway.
But my main thing here is like, listen, I do think once you've committed to something, it is so easy to talk yourself into it, so hard to talk yourself out.
You're getting married tomorrow.
And like you have committed to this thing. My question is, girl, why'd you commit to this thing? Like you said, I'm not in love with you. He said, but you will be. And you were like, all right, why not wait until you are in love and then get, if that's true. Like, if you are going to be in love with him at some point, if he can assure you of that, then fine. Keep doing what you're doing. And when that moment comes, then, you know, move on.
I don't understand what the rush is.
I don't know. 1998 was a weird year. You know, I can say.
We were heading towards the new millennium. People were like, we only have a little bit of time left before the end of the world.
The world's going to shut down at Y2K. Yeah. Come on. Take a risk.
Just YOLO.
So it's a very YOLO time.
Yes.
She says that he says he's ordering car parts. Which again, at the time, she doesn't question. He's a quirky man. He's a bit weird too. Like, even like the pictures of him, he's very normal, Norman. Like, he is just like normal guy, kind of oddball, big goofy eyes, tall, skinny dude. Like, he's just like, you wouldn't look at him twice. He's just kind of like an every guy. Like, he just blends right back into the background.
No, I'm just kidding.
His name's John Smith. His name is John Smith, and he looks the most John Smith of John Smiths. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you know. But at any rate, they do get married September 5th, 1998. John gives Diane a Ferrari for their wedding gift. And she's like, you couldn't have picked a better wedding gift. I love it. And they have the first few weeks of their marriage is absolute bliss. But the cracks do start to show. I mean, he does do weird things. He does like these weird things, like sends Diane off on like weird tasks. Like, she mentions a task where he's like, hey, I need this paperwork from the garage. Can you go get it? I don't have the key to the front gate, so you have to go to the back gate. It's like this really like convoluted task.
You're like, no, I'm on TikTok. Do it yourself.
Yeah, I'm busy.
The gates, both gates are locked. She can't get in. By the time she gets back, he's like, oh yeah, I really didn't need him anyway. So she's just like, what is going on?
So you're
like,
just
why
trying to get me out of the
You're just trying to get me away from, you're trying to get me away from you. Mm-hmm. They were at a car show at the time. So it was like, he's just like, why are you trying to get rid of me? Like, it was a bunch of like little weird things, right? So stuff like that was exactly that. It was just sus, but nothing too out of this world, right? So she also notices him doing some like weird kind of tantrum type behavior, but not toward her. Like she mentions like he's in the car in front of her and she's following him and she sees him like punching his steering wheel, like having like real tantrum behavior.
I have to say, you know, we've talked about a lot of things that are unattractive. Full-grown people, but especially because, you know, I've only ever dated men, full-grown men having tantrums, like tantrum behavior, it is so gross. It is such a turnoff. It is really the most ick.
Yep.
Yeah. Ugh. But he, again, like she's just like, I mean, okay, he never does this to her. He's never been, you know, even just like odd toward her. I mean, like he's just a weird guy, but he's never had tantrums toward her, and it's never been that behavior has never been at her or like in front of her even, really. It's been kind of more like she catches him
even
on
still,
his own.
like if you catch someone doing that, you're like, what are you bottling up inside? What's going on? Yeah, exactly. True. So again, she's kind of blowing this off and they're just kind of busy having a busy, happy life. She's like, you know, whatever she wants to do, he's like, hell yeah, let's do it. They're just, you know, having fun. You know, they're traveling, they're doing things and, you know, in general, minus those weird things that you look back, probably hindsight is like, what the fuck was that about? I'm sure at the time she probably didn't think twice about having to do this task. But then when she has this like look back, she's like, that was fucking weird.
I have a lot of empathy for people like this because it's like tiny little things that don't really seem like a big deal until you add them all up together.
Right. You probably wouldn't even tell your girlfriends about that. You wouldn't even tell your girlfriends about that weird thing. Like you're just like,
I'd be like, oh, that was odd. But yeah, I wouldn't even think that. I wouldn't think automatically like that's malicious. To me, the closing of the computer feels more malicious than sending me on this weird. I would just be like, I don't know what that was about, but I'm sure it's fine. You know?
Yeah, I agree. Meanwhile, it's 1998, like I mentioned. FBI investigator Robert Hilland is reopening a cold case involving one Betty Fran Gladden Smith. This is John Smith's ex-wife. At the time, they had completely lost track of John. So this is now in New Jersey. Betty Fran is kind of what she was called. Fran had, you know, disappeared. This is his second ex-wife.
The one whose picture he had up?
The one that he said died of cancer?
That's right.
Cool. Okay.
So they are actually on the hunt to find John because now they're going back through all the paperwork and the case and he's, you know, reopening this case, taking a look deeper as much as he possibly can into this. First and foremost, they need to track down John. Where the hell is he?
You know why I know he did it? Because he's telling people she died of cancer. And she's fucking missing.
Right. And you moved as far away as you can move, and you're not in contact with the authorities at all.
That's how I know you did it.
Yeah.
So they find that he was arrested in Ohio. This is where he's from, for a traffic violation in 1996. And at the time, there is in the record during their, you know, arrest. The police do something I didn't know they would do. They have a picture. He has a picture of this girl in his wallet. And he explains to them it's his girlfriend, that she lives in New Hampshire. They're able to find from the picture, like a watermark or whatever, this girl in New Hampshire. And using these details, they're able to track her down and talk to her about John. So they interview him and she's like, oh yeah, John. Yeah, we dated and we're still talking, but he moved to California. And I know that he has basically kind of just started like a brand new life there and is remarried. So Robert is immediately concerned now for this new wife. So they start to put a surveillance on him. Let me tell you why. Why are they concerned? What's the truth behind John's ex-wives? Let me tell you a little bit about John's past marriages. In 1970, John marries his first wife, Janice, just as he said, right out of high school. They're high school sweethearts. They elope right after graduating. They elope to Detroit. The marriage lasts about 4 years. During that time, it is a volatile relationship. It turns in from like screaming matches, fighting with each other constantly, into violent behavior in which John starts to physically abuse his wife, Janice. So Janice, he's like starting to control her. I mean, they're just, fresh babies out of high school, but she's had enough. She's like, you know what?
Good for her.
4 years of this is plenty. I'm plenty. And so Janice files for divorce and is like, you know what? I got to strike out on my own. I'm 4 years out of high school and I don't have any, qualifications for anything, but I've always loved to dance. So I'm going to go be a go-go dancer. And that's what she does. She starts working at a go-go bar, and Janice is like, enjoying her life, living life. But this new life is enraging to John.
I bet it is.
John is furious that his ex-wife is now shaking her go-go's for other men. How dare she? Ugh. And just 3 days after their divorce is finalized, Janice just disappears. 2 days later.
How long after the divorce?
3 days.
3 days?
3 days.
Okay.
3 days after the divorce is finalized, Janice is just
up and left.
She gone.
Yeah.
Up and left. She's like, I'm out of here, apparently.
Yeah.
John, 2 days later after that, he files a missing person report, and the police do an all shoulders investigation. They're like, oh, she's a woman who decided she was out drinking with men.
Right.
Yeah.
She just finalized her divorce. I'm sure she just wanted to go start a new life somewhere, and we can just case closed.
It's literally about that much investigation that happens. The level of investigation in this is nil. It's fucking garbage. It's bullshit. I can't believe this. And I mean, I get it. It's 74, 70, So, I mean, I guess expect that there's probably a ton that they can do, but still.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll tell you this much. They can do more than nothing.
They sure
can do more than nothing.
They could definitely interview his ass, I would imagine. So that's Janice gone. Bye. So John decides to move on with his life. It was harrowing that he lost, he was divorced and he dated around a little bit, but he ends up moving to Florida in 1990. When he moves to Florida, he's about 40 years old. He meets a woman named Fran, and Fran is a few years older than John. She's about 49 when they meet, and he's apparently smitten with her as well. He's like, love of my life. Let's get married. 2 months later.
Stop. Just, we don't need to do this.
2 months. 2 months.
No. I hate it.
Oh my God, it's the guy from Your Story. He drew a picture of them together with ILO asterisk EU. So Betty Fran Gladden is not a victim of cancer. Again, this is 1990. She meets him in Florida. Fran's a few years older, as I mentioned. He proposes just 2 months into their relationship. And after they get married, they end up moving to New Jersey, where this is where the relationship starts to sour. John is acting sneaky and weird, but Fran's really interested in making it work. She's like, yeah, we got married fast, but we can make this work. We can find our happy together, right? He would do weird things, like I said, sneaky snake stuff. And he would start just disappearing with not convincing explanations, just suddenly be gone for a period of time. again, there's a lot of questions that have no answers. This type of behavior being one of them.
Like, where is he
the
going?
The slamming of the computer. No, you know, also too, there's no mention of what he was doing between the years that Janice disappeared and now Fran.
Yeah, it really
makes I have a lot of fucking questions.
Makes me wonder who else
what were you doing?
Up and left in his path.
I will tell you, I have absolutely, when I think about this guy, I think serial killer. He has, I mean, all of these behaviors are so, they're weird. It's weird behavior. So, like I said, he's acting sneaky. He's disappearing. Fran, meanwhile, they're living in New Jersey. It's winter. She falls on ice. She breaks her hip, and they have to like fix her up. And they end up taking her. You know, she ends up being released to the home, to the care of John. But it's just a few, like just shortly after that John says he comes home from work and finds a note from Fran saying she'll be gone for a while. Feed the fish.
So she just, her broken hip, she just
decided like, now was the time to go on vacation.
She's convalescing at home, but now is a great time to just, and not call, not wait for her husband to like take her to the airport, not anything, just decides to leave a sticky note saying feed the fish. Sounds believable. Sure. So a couple weeks goes by. Fran's daughter calls. She's like, why haven't I heard from my mother? Like, what is going on? John says, he's like, I thought she was with you. I thought she was in Florida.
Well, if that's what you thought, why didn't you call me?
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Like if somebody just like fucked off with no explanation, just left a note, and I thought I had an idea of where they were, that's the first phone call I'm making. Right. Just to put my own mind at ease, to be like, it is, you know, just checking. It's okay, but I just want to make sure that they're all right.
John's like, well, I thought she was with you. He doesn't seem to be concerned at all, though. But finally, her daughter convinces him. She's like, if you don't call the police, I'm calling the police. Yeah. You have to put a missing persons report together. Like this.
Also, you're acting really fucking weird. Like you're acting
just disappear.
Really weird. Lie better. You know what I mean? When criminals act like this, I'm just like, do you not realize that would be a red flag to someone's daughter? That like, why aren't you're married to my mom. Why aren't you more concerned?
Well, that's how you know there's like something like broken. You know what I mean? Is that they can't
fake it.
They can't, they
have no
can't
empathy.
imagine that feeling. So, yeah.
So finally, after being convinced, he does file the police report reluctantly. This time, the New Jersey police, though, are very suspicious and don't give an all-shoulders investigation. They're like, that's fucking weird because we're in your house and you said that she just left with a suitcase. This is the suitcase.
But all her stuff is here.
All her stuff is here. Nothing's missing. Her fucking car's in the garage. So
she just walked. Walking?
What gun?
With her broken hip?
Just went for a walk with her broken hip. No big deal. So, New Jersey police are like, okay, what the fuck? So, and of course, John's acting weird. He's not upset. They're not. He's just acting really inconvenienced by the whole thing. They asked John about his first wife, and he says that, they divorced amicably, but after New Jersey police do just the cursory minimum by calling the Ohio detectives, they uncovered that, his first wife actually disappeared. That's interesting.
That's odd.
And regardless, though, of this obvious weirdness and the New Jersey police being almost 99.9% certain that this man fucking killed his wife, the fucking case goes cold because they have no fucking evidence and there's no body and there's nothing to go on. So basically, he's like, well, all right, well, I'm going to
move to California.
Move
on. See you guys.
Bye. So he does. He moves on with his life. So back to Diane. There in California, he's found his new wife, 1998, but it's on May 9th of 1999 that the FBI starts to really get into their case, and they're feeling stronger and stronger about having enough evidence to try to figure out, how Fran's murder and that he's probably the person who did it, right? And where she is, right? So they roll out this plan to take down John. The plan, though, is that they are going to interview multiple cities at the same time. So they're going to be interviewing in Ohio, John's brother. They're going to be interviewing his wife. They're going to be interviewing his girlfriend in New Hampshire. They're going to be interviewing all these people in his life at the exact same time. And the reason is because they don't want anybody to, before they get any information, to reach out to John just in case something comes out of these interviews, right? So it is at that day that 2 agents come into Diane's office. Can you fucking imagine? You're in your workplace, moving your mouse around, pretending to work, and some
doing the Wordle.
Yes. Oh my God, totally. And they are like, "Hey, we need to talk to you." They are grilling her on they're like, "Tell us about your past relationships. Tell us about this." They share with her that John had still been in contact with a woman in New Hampshire and that he'd recently sent her a card saying that he was in love with her and he can't wait to see her soon with flowers, with roses.
What? Sorry.
They also want to know if she knew about his ex-wife's disappearances. And she's like,
"Okay, come again? Come again?"
I said, "What?" She has no clue what they're talking about. And the FBI, though, for some reason, the FBI is not convincing her. I mean, they're telling her all of these things. They're laying out all of this information for her. But she just met these people. The FBI comes to you.
I'm sorry. Okay. So you're going to believe.
You married him after a couple of months and that was fine. But like, I'm sorry. I don't know you, FBI. I don't know. FBI man.
I do not.
If that is your real name.
I do not. Now you're going to be skeptical?
Right?
Yeah.
Now?
Seriously?
Yeah.
What? People hold multitudes, truly.
I'm not saying trust look. I am not here to say like trust the government, trust the FBI, like they don't do shady shit all the time. I'm just saying they're not doing shady shit for you specifically, Diane. Like they're not trying to like
they're not coming out to get you for any reason. But I do think that like it would be really my first conversation is going to be to Chris. If suddenly the FBI shows up to my work and I get interviewed like this, I'm going to be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What are they talking about,
You've been
Chris?
married to Chris for almost 20 years. That's
if someone came up and you had known him for 3 months and you got married and then like, "Hey, did you know this motherfucker was married a couple times before and both his wives like up and left?" You'd be like,
I'd at least, right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, listen,
I'd at least have my ears open for sure. But after she talks to John, John tells her this outlandish story. It's about being in witness protection and mobsters killing her.
Okay, that's more plausible. We can't believe what the FBI is dishing out, but like that sounds reasonable.
But
Diane and her son and her daughter Summer are like, they have no real reason to question him.
Of course you do.
Okay, no,
The
you don't
FBI
know
came
people.
to my house. Trust no, bitch. No.
No, we're not doing witness protection. We're not doing you're a secret agent. We're not any of that stuff.
Also, what kind of life were you involved in that the mob came and took your...
This is Wayne County, Ohio.
Yeah. Youngstown. Yeah, that is actually plausible.
I mean, it's not that off.
It's not that
both
off.
Wives? Both wives.
Both of them?
And they weren't both in Ohio?
Yep. Yeah.
Well, right.
Lady.
Okay, so...
Diane, sweetie.
Honey. You played
his second wife still died of cancer. It was his first wife that was the suspicious one, is what he's saying. I mean, he's got a story for everything. And it is literally like the thinnest of bullshit. Like, it's just, what?
Yeah.
Like, that is see-through. Like,
no,
okay.
I mean, if your second wife died of cancer, then why is the FBI looking for her body? These don't make sense.
Unless
they don't add up.
Is he trying to convince her that that wasn't the FBI? Is that what he's trying to convince her?
No, he's trying to convince her that they're out to get him. That's his
but he's in witness protection, which is a government
these things
program.
don't add up. Sir, your story,
Keegan,
outlandish.
Her believing it is one thing. Her kids, we got to talk. Diane's children, we need to sit down and have a conversation.
It's just Summer.
You got to protect your mama better than this. Because
I think she was already a little sus of him anyway. But I think that for Summer's sake, I think for her, she kind of felt that she gave him a lot of shit maybe early on, where she like really questioned everything, and then was kind of, I think, probably trying to acquiesce a little. But this FBI
is involved.
Not the time.
Yeah.
Not saying it. So the FBI interview around the country does dig up something. They interview John's brother, Michael, who tells the officers that he's been holding a family secret for a very fucking long time.
Oh boy.
And it's time to clear the air. He says that on Thanksgiving of 1974, he remembers very clearly they were watching the Ohio State-Michigan game. And over that weekend, John was out in the garage building something. And so he went out to the garage, and John's building this kind of crude wooden box. And so he's like, John, what are you doing? Why are you building this weird crude box for? And he says, oh yeah, you know what? Janice left a bunch of stuff, and I'm just going to put it in this.
You got to build a box for that? You can't just go get a cardboard box from somewhere?
Yeah.
Why are you building a box? Okay, whatever. All right, go ahead.
Well, and he was like, okay, so, I mean, if you're going to build something, why don't you build like a nice chest or something? He's like, mind your fucking business. And so Michael's like, all right.
Noted.
You're going to go back and watch the game.
Your hobbies is your hobbies, I guess.
So he puts that box in the fucking garage, and it remained there for the next 5 years. This is when 5 years later, their grandfather goes out into that garage, and he's like, something terrible's going on out here. So Michael and Granddad open that box to discover the mummified remains of Janice.
No. Listen, we all have siblings here. I'm not holding on to that secret.
Snitching.
I'm not holding on to that secret. Maybe that makes me a bad sister. I'm going 9-1.
According to one of the articles I read, Michael says that his grandfather punched him in the face when he said he was going to call the police.
Okay, we're going to go to fisticuffs then, Gramps. I'll punch you right back. You kidding me? I'm young,
Come on,
stronger.
old man.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's dance.
Wayne County, Ohio. let's dance. He calls John. He's like, John, what the fuck is going on? Why is there a fucking dead body in my fucking garage? And why is it?
So this is at Michael's house?
You left.
I think it's their grandfather's house.
Oh, you left your dead body at Grandpa's house?
In Grandpa's garage, yeah.
Yeah, no. It's fucked up.
What is happening? Also, 5 years? Wouldn't it
have smelled?
Well, it does, but it's not connected to the house. So it's not a garage that's like connected to the house. It's like a garage. It's more like one of those, what they showed the pictures, it looked like more like one of those
shed things.
More like a barn type of thing. Very Ohio.
You haven't gone in it for 5 years? You just noticed
they
that
might not have, or if they did, they probably didn't. Probably in and out. I don't know. I didn't ask.
I'm sorry. You're not on trial here.
I know. I didn't do it. Shit. So Michael calls John.
There's so many things about this that I'm just like, this doesn't make sense.
It's bananas.
It is. This story is bananas. So Michael calls John, freaking out. John tells Michael that the mob actually killed her and dropped the body off at their house, and he didn't know what to do with the body. So he arrives in Ohio from where he's now living in Indiana, throws the box in his trunk, and takes off. So he's been holding this information since 1980 for 18 fucking years.
That's no.
That's a lot. That is, can you imagine? I can't imagine holding that secret for 18 days.
No.
I'm
18 seconds.
Worst.
No, I'd be calling you guys like, guys,
Y'all.
what do I do? What do I do?
Yeah.
I mean, actually, no, because I would have gone. I don't care if Grandpa punches me in the face. I'm not going to be responsible for this. No.
Yeah. It's yeah. But of course, if Grandpa really did think the mob was involved, maybe he did. Maybe he was like, fucking keep your fucking yap shut. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, Diane at this point is still living with John. And they're just going about their lives as usual. They go out to dinner and Janice drops him off at his garage where he's going to pick up his car and meet her at home. But he never returns. Mm-hmm. So she's like,
Escape.
Boop, beep, boop, 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 beep, boop. FBI, do you have my husband? They're like, no, ma'am. Where is your husband? She's like, I don't know.
You weren't watching him? I thought you guys were supposed to be watching him. No?
Hi, you guys. No? We're, all right, bye. She also gets a weird phone call from Michael, John's brother, and Michael's like, we don't know where he is either. You need to fucking get away. You need to get away from this man. He is dangerous.
That would have been useful information before the wedding, Michael.
Yeah,
thanks, Michael. But who knows? Maybe Michael might not have even been in contact with him at this point. So who knows? This is, again, like 18 years later. 3 days later, he shows back up. He comes back home saying that he'd been held in a hotel room by the FBI who were trying to torture a confession out of him. At this point, she's like, except I've been talking to the FBI and they said they didn't have you.
They didn't see you? They said they...
Well, they would say that, Christina. Of course they would. They're not going to own up to torturing him.
Obviously. Come on, Christina. But she's like, nah, no.
Diane's reached her limit.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's reached her limit, and she's like,
to be fair, she's given them quite the spending limit to play around with. So
3 days.
Yeah, we're maxed out.
3 days of disappear. No, honey. Nope. Yep. You're bankrupt. Not gone through.
Nope. Declined.
So, declined, exactly. At this point, she's like, I need to help the FBI. So her and her daughter, Summer, start looking through all of John's stuff. They're going through his closets, his computers, his, the entire house, any pocket, every nook and cranny in this entire place. They find credit cards and cash, like large amounts of cash that are there one day. And then like the next day he takes them to work and they're gone again. She's like, they disappeared. And I'm like, you took it, didn't you?
I would. Pain and suffering.
That's right.
I don't know where it went.
I should just sit in an evidence locker.
Exactly.
I don't know. In the computers, they find, porn, things like that, but nothing necessarily that leads the investigators any further in this. But I don't think they really need much more than what's already been said by his brother. His brother's got pretty compelling evidence. However, they still don't have a body. But during the same time, Diane, again, she's had enough. She also files for an annulment and a restraining order. She gets both of these on the same day. She calls the police and says, I have reason to believe that when he gets served with these papers, that my life is going to be in danger. And she wasn't fucking wrong. As soon as he gets served, he races over to her place, runs up the stairs, starts pounding on the door. Summer is there with her. She calls the cops. The mom calls the cops, Diane, and already got him on the phone, right? He breaks down the door and is screaming at her. And she's like worried now more than ever. She is like freaking out. She's like, this is it. This is how I'm going to die. Suddenly Summer comes out and he's mood switches just like that, like a light switch. And he's like, I just want to talk to you. He's like, I don't understand. Why are you leaving? Like and she was like, it was terrifying. So noticeably frightening. She goes, I was literally in the room. It's not like I didn't hear everything that was happening. I just happened to step into the room as, she's like coming in to help protect her mom. And he's like, boop.
I don't like that. That's scary.
I don't like that fucking either. That's frightening. So, like I said, police, she's like, police are on their way. They're going to arrest you. She's saying anything, get the fuck out of your house, and so now seeing Summer there, knowing the police are on their way, he leaves. So, meanwhile, as I said earlier, there is no body discovery. And so they really are, it's kind of based off of, Michael's word against John at this point, because there is no body and there's nothing to go on other than that. So Wayne County Police are like, all right, they send out a mailing to Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana, asking anybody if they have any possibilities that they had found someone like this box with remains in it. A retired sheriff, Jerry Berman, in Indiana, receives the letters in its mailbox. He recalls a case from 1980 in Newton County, Indiana, where they had found a suspicious box on the side of the road with human remains inside.
That's very suspicious.
Yeah, very suspicious.
How strange.
There are no missing... When they find the body, there's no missing person reports that connect this body to anything. Of course, this is 1980 as well, so they don't have like real sophisticated DNA, things like that. So basically, this very quickly has to go into like kind of a unsolved pile, and they end up having to bury the body under the Jane Doe moniker. But after exhumation, they confirm through DNA that the remains are those of Janice. And on October 3rd of 2000, the FBI arrests John Smith, where they take him back to Ohio for prosecution. During court, they're not able to bring up Fran's disappearance. And John is found guilty, and he's sentenced to 15 years to life. Now.
What? Did you say 15?
To life, yeah.
Okay.
So he's eligible
like
for parole.
At this time, too.
Yeah, he's like in his 70s now, and he's eligible for parole technically in 5 years. But I don't know that that's going to happen. I mean, who knows? He is old. But here's the thing. They still were never able to convict him on Fran's case. As recently as, I think, like 2019, they started to, I think, bring charges against him for Fran. And I think just recently, within this last year, the case was dropped. I don't think, again, they just never had enough evidence. They can't find a body. And so they're not, and they weren't able to use his prosecution of his first wife in the trial.
Right.
So there's not really enough evidence, unfortunately, for them to prosecute him on this case. However, I think just like all three of us now are like, how many other, like you said, people up and left around him.
Yeah, exactly. He was in a lot of different states, and there's a lot of time between Janice and Fran, because he was just out of high school, and then he was 40.
Well, and he clearly seems like someone who's incapable of being alone, being single, right? Because he's jumping relationship, marriage to marriage. I have a hard time believing he was just hanging on his own from the time he was 21 to 40.
Absolutely. But it also makes you wonder too, like, if it weren't for him being married to these two women, would we even be talking about this case? Because it seems like the marriages are the connecting piece. Like, he can't deny knowing these people. He can't deny being with these people or living with these people or being in their vicinity, because he's married to them.
Yeah.
So then, I mean, he could have had acquaintances
or relationships with people.
Yeah.
Like, he's traveling all over the place. He could have had girlfriends.
We had a girlfriend in New Hampshire.
Yep,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That he was apparently still stringing along while he was married to Diane. So it's all very suspicious.
Icky.
It is
gross.
Google everybody.
That's right.
Be the FBI, CIA, Homeland Security.
I'm saying, listen,
all in one.
I love it when it works out. I'm happy for people when they, when you have kids with a stranger and that shit works out for you.
Exactly.
I love that for you. I'm so happy for you. But I can't help but think about, but what if it goes the other way? Is it working out? Is that enough of a positive to override the potential for you to be with somebody like this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no.
Yeah.
I want to know I want to meet your family. I want to fucking talk to your friends.
Yep. You put those calls on speakerphone.
Yes. That's right.
I think now that of course, we're all much more suspicious because we have access to
agreed.
Risa Tisa. Mm-hmm. We have access to TikTok. We have access to, these things. In 1998, you don't have access to all of these.
Culture has changed.
Things.
I feel like
absolutely
a lot of times, people fast-tracked relationships and moved on to marriage very quickly. I feel like that was more commonplace in years past. I feel like it was expected almost. Like you're with somebody for a certain amount of time. Yeah, okay. Getting married right away it's not something that was so unusual back in the day. I think society and culture has changed in that respect as well.
Mm. Oof. Yeah, it's not a great story.
Wow.
Well, what are you guys watching this week?
I've been consuming a lot of true crime. I did, which I haven't really been so much. But I listened to the Frankston murders. I listened to that. It's a case file podcast, but it's not the case file guy. It's someone else. It was very good. Very focused on the victims of those crimes. So that was great. Mm-hmm. But I watched They Called Him Mostly Harmless.
Oh,
on HBO, or not HBO, I guess it's just Max now, but on Max. That was interesting. It was a very interesting case. So if you don't know anything about it, it's like there was a hiker that they found who had been hiking for years across, I think, mostly the Appalachian Trail, but trails all over. And he was found emaciated, dead in his tent and had absolutely no identification on him whatsoever. And he had a trail name of Mostly Harmless, which is what he introduced himself as on the trail, but nobody knew his real name. So it took so it's as much about like this case as it is about like the hiking community, which I also thought was really cool. And then the sleuthing community, because it was online sleuths who really helped to crack this case open. So that was, you got some characters, got some characters there. So that's
interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. I'd recommend it. It was good.
Nice.
I am on part 4 of the Behind the Bastards series on Robert E. Lee. Loving it.
Oh, Lord.
No, because, we really did grow up with that ingrained in our education that Robert E. Lee just like loved Virginia so much. Like he couldn't bear to raise arms against it. Like this whole lost cause bullshit that's
and
totally
what
fucking
was the
false.
South to do? They were bound to lose anyway.
Right. So yeah, him as a noble figure. I actually also remember as a kid
I don't remember learning about him being a noble figure.
I remember.
I don't either, but I didn't grow up. I grew up in Las Vegas whenever we were studying that stuff.
I remember having to read the book Traveler in school. The book that is about
his horse?
Robert E. Lee's horse, and it's written in the horse's perspective.
Get bent.
I fucking remember it so
I don't
vividly.
even know what this is. We went to school in the same, pretty much almost the same city, and I do not have, that is not how we learned about Robert E. Lee.
Went to a private school, and so you definitely, I think, had an agenda.
I spent my elementary school in Las Vegas, Nevada, which was very, wasn't even a state during the Civil War. Definitely was not invested in Lost Cause mythology. But then in middle school, I was in Southern Missouri, so a little bit more of that. And I remembered when I was listening to the Behind the Bastards, I had this vivid recall of Inquire having to sing a song. And I'm going to Google the lyrics now because I kind of want to know. But it was called Brother, My Brother. And it was about how difficult it was. And I'm sure it was difficult, but how difficult it was. We're all part of the same nation and we're having to fight each other. And thinking back on that, I'm like, I bet you it was weirdly sympathetic to the Confederacy. I need to look up the lyrics because I'm like, I have a feeling I was up there singing some shit that today me would be like, this is sketch.
Side eye. Yeah.
Sketch.
Yeah. It's funny because I remember when I first met a friend from the South and she called it the War of Northern Aggression.
Oh my God.
Like, what are you talking about? I was like,
the war
Stop.
of northern
What they're talking
aggression,
about.
baby.
You fucking loser.
Stop it.
It's such a weird thing for me. And I do not think that I went to a progressive school. So I think it's really, I went to a small town school. I did not. And so it's funny to me that like the narrative that I got was so different.
Yeah.
Bunch of losers.
Even you, Christina, like that's so wild to me.
Well, I mean, when I got into high school and had like, you know, actual history courses, it was definitely like, it was about slavery. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it was very, very plain. Here's what they actually said in their secession. Like, we're doing this because of slavery. So, you know.
Exactly. No questions.
No questions.
No questions here.
The end. Yeah. That's the answer. Yeah. But yeah, definitely elementary school. I definitely remember that.
That's so weird. I don't even know this book that you're talking about. That's wild.
I know. Well, if you guys have books about horses.
No, don't tell them. Don't tell us.
If you have terrible date stories, if you want to just reach out and say hello, go to our one-stop shop of website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com. And we love you so much.
Cheers.